everyone, and welcome to Invertebrate Investigations. We've gotten a little bit of a makeover for 2026. Head on over to YouTube. My name is Kayla, and I'm on the education team here. And today we are talking about invertebrate style. Invertebrate style. Just a few housekeeping things, though. If you are watching live, please use the chat. I will see that. I'll probably do questions at the end instead of doing them as they come in. And if you're watching the recording, feel free to drop any questions or comments you have in the comment section. It just may take me a little bit longer to get to them. Also new for this year, we're going to try and keep this to about 15 minutes. We'll see. Sometimes I ramble, so we'll see if I keep it on time. But if you are not familiar with Butterfly Pavilion, we are an invertebrate zoo located in Westminster, Colorado, about 20 minutes north of Denver. And we love to talk about and highlight all the amazing animals that do not have spines. And today, we're focusing on the very stylish invertebrates. So up first, of course, we have to talk about butterflies. So I could spend this entire session, I could spend the entire day talking about stylish butterflies. So I'm just going to focus on two. I picked two of my favorites. And up first is, of course, the blue morpho butterfly. They are probably one of the most eye-catching butterflies in our collection because of that stunning blue color on their wings. They are a Costa Rican species, and they're fairly large, one of the larger butterflies in our collection, maybe about palm size with their wings fully spread. And when they close their wings, they're brown. So they've kind of got the best of both worlds. They've got a little bit of camouflage as well as a bright pop of color. So here you can see one flashing those wings. They also have a row of eye spots too on those wings. So that's going to help with defense. The eye spots are to frighten away any potential predators. And the color can serve two purposes. It can be used for attracting a mate. Right, the lady morphos like nice bright blue colors, but they can also be used kind of how the one in the video is doing here, to surprise a predator. Sometimes if you get too close to them, they will very quickly flash their wings at you. It's a nice pop of blue. And if I was a hungry bird checking this thing out, thinking about eating it, that would probably startle me, and I would definitely leave that alone. One interesting thing about the morphos is if you look at their wing scales under a microscope, they're actually clear. They do not have blue pigment in their wings. Instead, they have what is called structural color. So each individual wing scale is a tiny prism, and they are refracting the light to get that gorgeous blue color. So if you see them in person when they're flying, especially on a sunny day, they almost look like they shimmer, and can be anywhere from kind of the light blue that you see in this video to almost like a deep purple, depending on how the light hits them. So they are really striking, really beautiful butterflies. And if you come to see them in person, just a warning, they are terrible about letting you take pictures of them. I feel like the second they you pull the camera out, they are closing those wings up, but they are still very beautiful. All right. Second butterfly. This is another one of my favorites. If you ask me what my favorite butterfly is, it changes every single time you ask, but this is another one of my favorites. And this is the emerald swallowtail, also called the peacock swallowtail, green-banded peacock. They have a lot of different common names. This is a species from Southeast Asia, and once again, they are another stunning example of this structural color. If we zoom in just a little bit, you can see almost those individual wing scales. And again, the green is coming from that structural coloration. If we looked at those wing scales under the microscope, we would not see green pigment. We would just see little clear wing scales. And again, it's hard to pick what is the most beautiful butterfly in our collection, but this is a pretty good one. Anytime we see them, you always know when the staff are excited to see one. It's when you know you've got a good one. And unlike the morphos, the emerald swallowtails are a lot more cooperative when it comes to taking photos. Most butterflies will rest with their wings closed, but I have noticed these like to kind of droop their wings when they're resting, and so you can get photos of that gorgeous coloration. When they close their wings, I don't have a photo of it just because they rarely sit like that, but when they close their wings, they're kind of just a dark brown, gray, blackish coloration. So they're, again, have the best of both worlds. They can camouflage, they can hide a little bit, but again, have that gorgeous coloration to attract their mates. All right, so like I said, we could spend the entire time talking about butterflies, but I wanted to highlight some of our other incredible invertebrates. So let's start with probably one of the best examples of camouflage. So here I have some leaves, and you might notice some of these little leaves kind of look like a bug. It's because they are. So these are giant leaf insects. Again, they're another species from Southeast Asia, and these are actually juveniles in the video. So they are babies. They do get fairly large, about palm-sized, super, super cute, but again, fantastic camouflage. And they use both their physical adaptations, right? So they look like a leaf. You can even see on some of them the kind of edges. It looks like a dying leaf or a dead leaf. So it just helps create that that great camouflage, but also their behavior, the way that they act. When you see them in here, they're kind of wiggling back and forth. Was a slight breeze where we were filming. They've been filmed indoors, but when they walk, they kind of have like a kind of a stuttering walk. They don't just move. They kind of are like jerking back and forth because they want to maintain that illusion of a leaf like moving in the breeze. And so not only are they relying on their looks, but also their behavior to help them camouflage. And then I do have some photos of the adults. Let's go take a look at these. So again, they do get fairly large. Again, about hand-sized. There's another one. There's a very large female. The females are going to be larger than the males. The males tend to look much smaller. And then I really like this one because we can see their cute little faces. So they are super cute and, again, probably some of the best camouflage. All right, let's move on over to spiders. For anyone who is arachnophobic, we are going to look at some videos and some photos of spiders, but they are very beautiful. So up first, I have the sapphire ornamental tarantula. The one on the video right now is a juvenile, so she's a little on the small side.
Did you want to spray, Corey,
Probably,
or no?
I would say no more than 2
Oh,
3 inches long. So they do get bigger. These are also sometimes called the Guti sapphire, and they are a species from India. And they have this incredible coloration, beautiful blue with the yellow stripes. And
did you want to
this
spray,
coloration
Corey, or
is
no?
a warning.
Oh.
So this is warning coloration or aposematism. So camouflage is for blending in. Aposematism is when you have bright colors to serve as a warning. And these tarantulas do have kind of a nasty bite. They are not known for being aggressive. In fact, a lot of people keep them as pets. They're very popular in the tarantula pet hobby because of their gorgeous coloration, but they are one where you are not going to want to get bitten by this one. They have a pretty severe venom. It's not going to kill you, but even a healthy adult, you're probably going to be pretty sick for a couple days up to a week. So this bright blue coloration and the yellow, potential predators are going to be able to see that coloration and know that this is someone we want to give some space to. So if you're thinking about a tarantula as a pet, I wouldn't start here. These are more kind of an advanced species. People do keep them, and they're not known for being aggressive. They're actually fairly shy and tend to prefer to hide in their spaces.
Did you want to spray,
But
Corey,
if you're thinking
or
of a
no?
tarantula, wouldn't recommend them as a first one. All right. Let's go on to our second tarantula, and if I was put on the spot and had to answer on what the most beautiful tarantula species was, I think it would be this one.
Did you want to spray?
So this is the Antilles pink-toed tarantula. They are a Central American and Caribbean species, and they are gorgeous. So here we have an adult female. You can see that great like metallic emerald color as well as the magenta. And in the video, she's brushing her teeth right now. You can see her chelicerae, her fangs are kind of moving back and forth. So she probably just enjoyed a nice cricket and is cleaning her teeth afterwards. Again, I love all tarantulas. They're all beautiful, but if I had to say who is the most beautiful, it'd probably be this girl. She also just looks so fluffy. These are an arboreal species. They can be quite fast and a little unpredictable, though they're not known for being aggressive. So again, maybe wouldn't choose this as my first tarantula if you're thinking about one as a pet, but they do have a very mild venom. They can be super speedy. And because they are a tree-dwelling species, they are very good at climbing. So wouldn't want this one to escape. But she is beautiful. We have a collection of babies here. So let's pop over and see these little cuties. Well, they are juveniles. So they are sapphire blue when they are babies. So here we have some spiderlings. I mean, we're probably a week, I would say no more than 2 weeks old in this video, and there are quite a lot of them, but they are sapphire blue when they're juveniles, and then they eventually will get that magenta and green coloration. All right, and then I do have a few still photos, again, just to show off that coloration. You may notice she does have a little bit of a bald spot on her abdomen. These tarantulas do have urticating hairs, so they're itchy, barbed hairs that they use for defense, and she might have been kicking either at those who are feeding her, or if she's coming up on a molt, they will actually kick those hairs all around their space to kind of make like a little moat, a little protection area. So that's kind of where that discoloration on her abdomen is coming from. All right, so we've seen some gorgeous colors, some great camouflage, but invertebrates are also masters of accessorizing. And for that, we do need to go to the ocean. We're going to go to the aquatics. So up first, hermit crabs. Hermit crabs are killer when it comes to the accessory game. Here we have our guy Ozai. He is one of our biggest hermit crabs in our collection, and I could not get video of him, but he actually has 2 shells that he switches between. So we have the white one that he's wearing right now in the video, but he also has a bluish one that he will switch between. They're about the same size. I have not figured out the logic between why we wear which shell when we wear, but his body is not attached to that shell. He can switch between, depending on what's most comfortable. I don't know if fashion factors into it, if the way it looks factors in, but they can switch those shells out. And as they grow, as Ozai gets bigger, he will keep growing his entire life. He will need to move into bigger shells. So we always make sure our hermits have extra shells, either if they just want to move into a new one, or if they go through a molt and they need more space. So Ozai here, he is a terrestrial hermit crab. He would live on the land. He does need water, obviously, to survive, but he breathes air. However, there are aquatic hermit crabs as well. So I have one of our very teeny little blue leg hermit crabs in our coral tank. We have a bunch of little tiny ones right now, and they are very cute. At least the parts that we can see. So if you've never seen a hermit crab without a shell, let me just say they are strange looking animals. They have kind of a weird curly little body that they curl back into that shell. They use their last set of legs to grip it, but they do not have a very strong exoskeleton on that back half of their body, and so that's why they need the shells to help protect them. And they can move into anything. You may have seen like photos of them using like aluminum cans or trash that they found on the beach. Not the best option, but they are very adaptable. They can work with some litter that's in their space if they need to. We do have one hermit crab here His name is Harry, and he is very silly. So here he is completely hanging out of his shell. He likes lots of space in his home and is frequently in shells that are way too big for him. And clearly he feels very safe because he will venture out of his shell. So here he is, he's leaning, look like we're digging for some food in the sand. And so you can see that kind of weird curly body of his. He is hanging on just barely. But it's good to know. It means he feels very safe. If Harry was in the wild, something probably would have eaten him by now. But in the tank here, with no predators, and he's also the biggest hermit crab in this tank, so he's kind of the boss. But it is really funny to see him. Here's another video of him. You can see how much bigger that shell is than him. But he likes his space. He likes lots of room. To stretch out, and he can fully pull his body into that shell and have plenty of room. So if he wants some quiet time or is wanting to maybe not share some food with the other hermit crabs, he can just pull himself in that shell and go hide, and nobody will mess with him. All right, and I'm already running over time, but we are on our last animal. So our best accessorizer has got to be our sea urchins. So here they are. We actually have urchins wearing hats, wearing another urchin. We've got a little bit of an urchin chain going on. So we give our sea urchins hats, but we do not put them on them. We put them in the tank, but they pick them up of their own free will. So these are collector urchins, and in the wild they will pick up rocks and shells and sticks and other things to help them camouflage, help them hide from potential predators. But we don't have any predators in the tanks where we keep them, so we don't have to worry about that. So we just put these little hats in the tank, and they will pick them up and wear them. It's really funny to see them. They tend to collect, again, as their name suggests. They will grab lots of hats. And they don't technically have heads, so they're not the best at wearing them. But they can pick them up, and it's a really fun way for them to exhibit natural behaviors. And they're using these little tube feet, these little tubes to help them grip onto things. I also got a great video here of them walking. So just like a sea star, they have little tiny tube feet underneath that will help them move along. And so they're not the fastest animals, but they can in fact move, and they look fabulous while they are doing it. All right, I am not seeing any questions in the chat, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. If you are not subscribed to Butterfly Pavilion on YouTube, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Get bugs right in your notifications. And next month, we will be back. We're going to be talking about buggy love. So it's all about romance just in time for Valentine's Day. It's actually going to be after Valentine's Day. I will be back on February 19th, again at 11 a.m. To talk about a little bit of invertebrate romance. So we'll be talking about courtship rituals, how invertebrates attract their mates, and why they go through some really strange rituals to find a partner. So I hope to see you all next month. And again, if you're watching the recording, feel free to drop those questions in the chat, and I will get to them as soon as I can. So thank you all so much for joining. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next month.